Alrighty, party peoples of the interwebs, it is Sunday, which means it's time for your pre-Viva and Barnes Law Extravaganza car vlog, reminding you every Sunday night at 1800 Eastern Standard Time is the best law show on the interwebs. Today, the news is that there have been allegedly bomb threats being made against various institutions in Springfield, Ohio. Now, this is a developing story, but not for the effort of the authorities involved because they are not giving any further comment above and beyond written statements, which we'll get to in a second. David Axelrod famously said that Chicago has an old expression: when things are going rough, you throw a brick through your window, call a press conference, and say how you've been attacked. All right, I absolutely ruined that. This is what Axelrod said, quote, "In Chicago, there was an old tradition of throwing a brick through your own campaign office window and then calling a press conference to say that you've been attacked," end quote. Axelrod says. Now, before we come back to that at the end of this vlog, and while you're enjoying the sweet, relaxing sound of the rain trickling on the roof of my home office, the news in Springfield, this is what actually happened. Within the span of less than a week, I would say that the majority of Americans went from not even knowing about Springfield, Ohio, to knowing more than they ever thought they would know about Springfield, Ohio, and the 20,000 Haitian migrants, immigrants, who had been given temporary protection status that were shipped to a town of Springfield, Ohio, of 58,000 residents.
That is why, also, starting with our administration, we gave TPS, temporary protected status, to Haitian migrants, 55,000. And then more recently, we extended temporary protected status to over 100,000 Haitian migrants for that very reason, that they need support, they need protection.
Within less than a week, America went from not knowing what on earth was going on in Springfield to now knowing that they have had a 25% population increase as a result of Haitian immigrants. And it doesn't matter where they're from, like I always have been saying from the beginning of this, you put 20,000 people of anybody from a foreign nation in a town of 58,000 people, in addition to the strain on resources that they are now confirming are abundant, you're going to have some cultural conflicts, to say the least. And so while barely a week ago nobody in America knew what was going on in Springfield, Ohio, it went from total ignorance to alleged rumors of Haitian migrants, Haitian immigrants, Haitian aliens eating pets, dogs, and cats. It became a meme. Then you had the authorities coming out and saying, we've received no reports of this happening, and then they have to temper it a little bit to say, we've received no credible reports of this happening. And then you get audio recordings of people having called into the police reporting that Haitian aliens were eating ducks out of the park, and then the police have to come out and say, after having flatly denied that these stories ever occurred, say, oh, well, we got some, but we don't consider them credible sources, yada, yada, yada. But then bottom line, by the end of the week, everybody now fully appreciates that this town of Springfield, Ohio, a town of 58,000 people, has now been forced to take in 20,000 Haitian migrants, aliens, whatever you want to call them, since 2020. And that has had obvious and predictable disastrous impacts on that town. My goodness, is that beautiful. It's had obvious, predictable, disastrous impacts on the town. Taylor Hansen has been down there documenting it on the streets. The homeless population of Springfield now being outright neglected, and the foreigners, the Haitian migrants, are getting preferential treatment, getting cash from the government, while the locals are being left literally to fend for themselves, relying on the kindness of strangers and not the obligations of government to get diapers for their children.
Are you homeless out here in Springfield,
Yes.
Ohio?
Yes, me and my baby both are.
How long have you been homeless for?
I've been here in Springfield since January, and I've been homeless the whole time.
The whole time?
Yep.
Okay. Do you feel like the Haitians, or kind of the influx of the Haitian immigrants, are taking away from resources that you could potentially have?
100%. 100%. Before they came here, we could get housing. Young single moms could actually afford to pay rent.
Yeah.
Now that they're here, $900 for a 2-bedroom? How is a young single mom supposed to pay that on top of her kid?
So
We got to fight for our money, our food stamps, our medical, everything. We got to fight for it, but they get to come here and just get it handed to them. That's not fair to my daughter.
And so the media goes into a whole lot of methinks they doth protesteth too much. And I said, I bet this is true, not because of the stories, but because of the reaction from the media and the liars in government. Eric Swalwell, I'm looking at you. But it goes from, no, these are all totally unsubstantiated rumors, to, all right, we've got some unconfirmed reports, to now it being the Haitian community of Springfield, Ohio, are the victims of backlash, bomb threats, various threats. And this is what happens when you shine that spotlight on what the government is doing to small town America. And while while the authorities write off these rumors, these reports as being unsubstantiated or uncorroborated reports that they then disregard to say it's not happening, they then invoke the alleged bomb threats that they're getting to claim now that the Haitian community of Springfield, Ohio is the victim of reprisals as a result of everything, and they give a written statement taking no questions from the media as if that is going to convince anybody of the legitimacy of the alleged bomb threats, which brings us full circle back to the David Axelrod theory that once upon a time in Chicago, you would throw a brick through your own window so you could call a press conference and claim that you've been attacked. And if you haven't seen that video of the chief or the police chief of Springfield and she makes Wiggum look good by comparison, here's that video clip.
At the beginning of an afternoon news conference, the Springfield police chief, Allison Elliott, flat out said she wouldn't be taking any questions. Instead, she read from a prepared statement, which contained, really no new information, just what we had learned hours earlier. Several agencies got that bomb threat by email at 8:24 this morning. City Hall was evacuated and closed the rest of the day, as were several other buildings in the area. Well, reporters had plenty of questions for the police chief, but the chief again said she wouldn't be taking any questions. And that's when reporters loudly complained about a lack of transparency.
I encourage the public, if you see something, please say something. Thank you.
Chief, are these threats today along Champion Avenue related to either each other or the larger attention Springfield has been getting this week?
Again, we are not taking questions at this time. I do have Karen Graves, Ms. Karen Graves from the city here with us.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to let you know that if you have any further questions after this, you can email me.
Again, no questions answered. Elliott said all the buildings were checked and cleared by police and explosives detecting canines. The nearby courthouse was checked. As a precaution, it was also cleared. Now, the chief said right now they are partnering with the Dayton office of the FBI to identify the source of that email. On your side, I'm Terry Sullivan.
A written statement, no questions from the media, to the point where even the journalists there are saying, we've been waiting here for an hour and you're not going to take any questions. This is ridiculous. And then, if you can believe it, the media goes after Trump for not immediately denouncing these alleged bomb threats, even though the authorities themselves are giving virtually no details on what happened. And if you haven't seen that clip, here's the clip.
We did, yeah.
Should J.D. Vance debate Tim Walz?
Yeah, sure. I think it would be good. JD's doing a great job, don't you think? He'll do very well. JD's going to debate, yeah.
Do you denounce the bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio?
I don't know what happened with the bomb threats. I know that it's been taken over by illegal migrants, and that's a terrible thing that happened. Springfield was this beautiful town, and now they're going through hell. It's a sad thing. Not going to happen with me, I can tell you right now. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
And within the same week, you have the authorities saying, no, these are just nasty racist rumors. It's not happening. All right, we got a call here from somebody who seemed pretty credible, alleging that there were some Haitians taking ducks out of the park. All right, we've looked into it. Nothing to see there. The other reports we got were not credible. Oh, and the other videos of allegations of things that look really, really bad. I'm not going to show you that video. Well, that's not Springfield, Ohio. That's somewhere else in Ohio. And then at the exact same time, you have all of the media and the Democrat sycophants in government saying, no, it's not happening. You've got their other sycophants saying, yeah, it's happening, and it's a good thing. From Bill Kristol, they aren't illegal. They didn't, quote, descend, end quote, upon a town, and they're not destroying anyone's way of life. What would destroy our American way of life is if this kind of lying, bigotry, demagoguery, and incitement were to prevail. We cannot let that happen. Never Trump. It's not happening. Okay, there have been some unconfirmed reports. All right, there have been some reports, but that's not in Springfield. Oh, they're not illegal. They're not descending because the government authorized it by granting them temporary protection status. All right, it's not happening, but it's a great thing that it is.
In Springfield, Ohio, 20,000 illegal Haitian migrants have descended upon a town of 58,000 people, destroying their way of life. They've destroyed the place. And people don't like to talk about it, because even the town doesn't like to talk about it, because it sounds so bad for the town. They live there. They're proud. They love the town. For years, it was a great place, safe, nice. Now they have 20,000, and I actually heard today it's 32,000. It's the new number. Illegal aliens are now coming in from all over the world, from prisons, jails, mental institutions. They're coming in at levels that we've never seen before. We cannot let this happen to our country. And I will be your border president, and I hope you call me a border president.
And then when all else fails, you throw a brick through your own window, call a press conference and say how you've been attacked. You have the police coming out and saying, there's been bomb threats, but don't ask us any questions and I will tell you no lies. And that's how it's gone. And that's where the world is at right now. We'll talk about this more in detail tonight. 1800 o'clock on Rumble, Viva and Barnes Law extravaganza. If you like what I do, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to make sure that you get notified when I put out a video. Share my stuff with someone who you think would like it, and share it with someone who you know would not. But most importantly, exercise, eat healthy, sunlight, talk to people in real life, and now you know your vlog. Peace out, peeps. Booyah!
We had about 15,000 or so immigrants move to my town of 60,000. Now, you might say, wow, that's a lot of people for a town that only had 60,000 before. That's a 25% increase. That is correct. So you might imagine there are some challenges with, integrating a new population, new language, new culture, new dietary preferences, all kinds of reasons why there might be growing pains.